The first time I saw Karen covered in blue, I almost choked on my coffee. I mean, picture this: bright, cloudless Thursday morning, birds chirping, sprinklers ticking like nothing in the world could go wrong, and right in the middle of the cul-de-sac stands the most feared woman in Maplewood Estates, hand-stained neon blue like she just robbed a Smurf bank. She was scrubbing like crazy, blouse ruined, face streaked, eyes wild, and people were gathering around trying not to laugh. Someone asked what happened, barely holding it together. Karen spun in a circle, pointed straight at my porch, and shouted, "This is vandalism. This is an attack." And I just sat there on my swing, slow sipping my coffee, smiling like I just watched karma clock in for work. Because the truth was I set the trap. But that story didn't start with blue dye. It started months earlier when I moved into Maplewood Estates, thinking I'd finally found peace. New job, quiet neighborhood, trimmed hedges, identical mailboxes, the kind of place where nothing dramatic was supposed to happen. The kind of place where people waved politely and pretended everything was perfect. Then I met Karen Reynolds. Mid-50s, sharp suits, always holding a clipboard like it was a badge. HOA president. But not the friendly kind, the ruling kind. The kind that measured grass height like a prison guard checking cell bars. First day I moved in, she smiled at me. But it was one of those smiles that stops halfway to the eyes. "Welcome to Maplewood," she said sweetly. "We like things orderly here." And then she handed me a handbook thicker than my lease agreement. I didn't think much of it at the time. Just another overzealous HOA lady, right? Yeah, I wish. A few weeks later, my packages started disappearing. At first it was little stuff, socks, tools. Then bigger things. A smartwatch I've been saving for. Running shoes. Every delivery said the same thing, delivered. But my porch was empty. I called drivers, filed reports, even thought maybe I was losing my mind. Then one delivery guy said something that stuck. "Oh yeah," he told me casually. I handed it off after waving to your neighbor. Lady in the bright suit. And something inside me clicked. I didn't want to believe it. HOA presidents aren't supposed to be porch pirates. But once the thought was there, I couldn't shake it. Every missing package. Every time her assured little car faced my house. Every polite smile when I complained. So I bought a tiny camera and mounted it above my porch light. The next day, I ordered a cheap box of pens and waited. And sure enough, there she was. Glancing left, glancing right, pretending to check her mailbox, then strolling up my steps like she owned them. She picked up the box, tucked it under her arm, and walked away. Broad daylight. No hesitation. Watching that footage later made my stomach twist. Not just because she stole, but because she smiled at me every day like nothing was wrong. I could have confronted her, called the cops, filed complaints, but something told me that wouldn't work. People like Karen didn't lose with accusations. They twisted things, made themselves the victim. So I got creative. I built a decoy package, labeled Fragile Electronics. Inside, a harmless dye pack that exploded when lifted. And I waited. 3 days, nothing. I thought maybe she caught on. Then on the fourth afternoon, I saw her through the blinds. Same walk, same sneaky little glance. She grabbed the box, and boom, a cloud of blue exploded like a gender reveal gone wrong. She screamed, dropped the box, stumbled backward. It echoed across the whole neighborhood. I laughed so hard I had to sit down. But that laugh didn't last long, because humiliation does something dangerous to people like Karen. It doesn't teach them. It weaponizes them. The next morning, I got my first HOA fine taped to my door. Official letterhead. $250 violation for hazardous materials on porch. I actually laughed out loud. Until the rumors started. Neighbors whispering that I stored chemicals. That I was unstable. That I was causing disturbances. Karen wasn't just mad. She was rewriting the story. Then county inspectors showed up at my house because someone reported unsafe materials. I walked them through my shed, showed them everything. They were polite, apologetic even. Said someone had exaggerated. I didn't need to ask who. That night, I checked my mailbox and found a note with a screenshot of me from my own security camera. Two can play this game. That was the moment the fear set in. Not anger. Fear. Because suddenly it wasn't about packages anymore. It was about control. Things escalated fast after that. Fake HOA fines, threatening notes, late-night knocks on my door, even a break-in. They took my security drive and nothing else. Not cash, not electronics, just the footage. Someone knew exactly what they were looking for. And when I later found a hidden stash of stolen packages in an old shed by the lake, mine and half the neighborhood's, I realized something worse. Karen wasn't just petty. She was systematic, and she wasn't alone. A deputy named Daniels tried to stop me when I found the stash. That was the twist that really changed everything. Because once law enforcement starts smiling at the wrong people, you realize the game is bigger than you thought. So I stopped playing defense. I got smart. Hidden backups, cloud storage, a voice recorder disguised as a keychain. And then I baited her. I put a for sale sign in my yard, fake obviously. Posted online that HOA life wasn't for me anymore. She showed up within hours. All smiles, all fake sympathy. And she talked. Oh man, she talked. Bragged about control, about keeping order, about knowing everything that happened in the neighborhood, about how people like me didn't belong there. I just stood there nodding while the recorder quietly captured every word. That recording changed everything. The final straw came a few nights later. She tried to burn my yard. Gasoline, match, flames climbing into the night. But this time I had it all on camera. That's when I went outside the neighborhood. County detectives, real investigators, people without HOA politics in their veins. And when they arrested her, handcuffs, bathrobe, screaming about perfection, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt empty, because by then I knew something deeper was wrong. And I was right. When detectives dug deeper, they uncovered years of surveillance, hidden cameras, hacked feeds, records tracking every resident's routines. Karen wasn't just controlling lawns and mailboxes. She was monitoring people. And the real shock? She wasn't the mastermind. Her husband was. The quiet guy nobody noticed. The one pulling strings from the shadows, building a system of surveillance under the disguise of neighborhood order. When I finally confronted him in that empty house, blue light from monitors flickering across walls covered in live camera feeds, it hit me how far things had gone. All of it built on one idea. That fear creates obedience. He tried to destroy the evidence, blew up equipment hidden near the lake, tried to erase everything. But by then, it didn't matter. Enough survived. Enough truth surfaced. Karen went to prison. Her husband vanished. Investigations spread outward. The HOA dissolved. People started talking, sharing stories, connecting dots. And Maplewood slowly became just a neighborhood again. Quiet lawns, kids riding bikes, people actually talking to each other without whispering. Sometimes I still sit on my porch at sunset and think about it all. How something that started with missing packages turned into uncovering a surveillance web hiding in plain sight. And here's the thing nobody tells you about justice. It's not loud. It doesn't feel like fireworks or movie endings. Sometimes it feels like exhaustion followed by silence. But there is one lesson that stuck with me, one I didn't understand until it was all over. Power doesn't always show up wearing a uniform or holding a title. Sometimes it smiles politely, hands you a handbook, and tells you it's just keeping things orderly. And the dangerous part? People let it grow because it feels normal at first. Until it isn't. Until someone finally says no. In the end, karma didn't come as revenge. It came as exposure. Truth dragged into daylight where it couldn't hide behind rules and clipboards anymore. And yeah, there's a little satisfaction. Not gonna lie. Seeing that cul-de-sac, the same place where Karen once ruled like a queen, turn to the spot where she got led away in cuffs. That felt like the universe balancing its books. But here's the part one still wrestle with. If I hadn't fought back, if I'd just moved away like she wanted, would any of it have come to light? Or would Maplewood still be smiling politely while someone watched from behind the curtains? So now I'm curious. If you found yourself in a place where control was hiding behind rules, where speaking up might make things worse before they got better, would you fight? Or would you walk away and let someone else deal with it? I don't know if there's a perfect answer. But I know this. Silence helps the wrong people every time. So I'll ask you straight. Have you ever dealt with someone who abused power like that? And when it mattered most, did you push back or stay quiet?